Episode 5, Saint Aelred. I'd not been in my monastery long when I came across a monk called Father Aelred. Aelred was a very skilled electrician and a very valued member of the community, but he was not a monk to be emulated. He cut the rules. He had his own private cell, whereas we used to have to sleep in dormitories. He used to eat in the infirmary, so he got meat and fish, and we never did. Anyway, he had a brain tumour, and 3 novices took their task of spending 8-hour shifts looking after him, because no monk was ever allowed to be alone, particularly when they were dying. Anyway, I was sitting there in this infirmary block holding his hand, and suddenly his hand gripped mine more tightly, and I didn't know what was happening. And then I thought, as he stared at me, he wasn't looking at me, he was looking at something beyond me. And I moved to one side and turned, and behind me was a large crucifix. He saw the crucifix, smiled, and died. And this lovely death that he had a big part to play in my life. When I was last at the monastery, I visited his grave on the 8th of December 1963 and remembered him there. What was so strange was this. 25 years later, at a soiree held in Canterbury, some 300 miles from the monastery, I was at this gathering, and this lady came up to me and said, "Oh, Robert tells me you used to be a monk. I had a favourite uncle that I loved more than anybody else in the world. He was a monk. He was at Mount St. Bernard Abbey, and his name was Father Aelred." And I knew it was the man whose hand I had held 20 years before, and I gripped her hand and said to him, I was with him when he died. He died a beautiful death. He died a beautiful death. And we hugged one another and remembered Aelred. How strange. What's the odds of that happening in terms of millions to one? Blessings on you and those you love. Patrick.